What is up, Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom fans? Earlier I posted a video where I did a breakdown of a video posted by Marvel HQ, and it was about like all these animals getting transformed into symbiotes and basically getting venomized and stuff, and that was some cool stuff. And then I also mentioned when the next episode of Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom will air on Disney XD, so go check out that video. I'll leave the link down in the description below. But Marvel HQ also posted another video today about Maximum Venom, and it is the secret history of Venom. And this was way longer than the first one. This one was like a 10-minute video, or at least close to it, and I really loved it. I have to say, it was really enjoyable because it really took a deep dive into the history and the stories of the symbiotes and Venom. And this is great for people that don't know this story. Like, for example, I had heard of Null, and I knew that he created the symbiotes and everything, but I didn't know the full story of like how the symbiotes were actually created and how they spread throughout the universe and everything. So I really love this story, and I learned so much from this. And if you haven't seen the video yet and you want to go check that out, I'll also leave the link to that down in the description below as well. But I'm gonna break it down here so we can go over what this means for the show and just the characters overall, because I don't think they'll go over this in the show. They might like reference Null or something, but I just like that they did this. So anyway, we of course have Venom narrating this, because who else would narrate this? And he's like, let me tell you the story and the history of the symbiote. So we're of course out in outer space, and there is this meteor. And on this meteor is this creature, this all-powerful creature of darkness named Null. And he seeks power. He wants there to be more darkness in the universe than light. So the Celestials are the light side of things, and the Null is the dark side. So the Celestials are trying to keep things light and everything. So Null needs a way to defeat the Celestials. And by the way, I really love the way that they tied in the Celestials here. I had no idea they were involved with this story. But also, if you don't know who the Celestials are, they're going to be in the upcoming Eternals movie as well. So that's also really cool. But anyway, Null had to create a weapon. So he forged this weapon. And it wasn't just, a sword or some cool weapon like that. No, this was a living symbiote, or Klyntar as they officially call it. So he puts on the Klyntar, and he basically becomes the symbiote Klyntar King, because he's the one that created them. And this shot is just awesome. I love the way he looks here with the spider symbol on his chest and the armor and the crown and everything. So now he has all these symbiote Klyntar weapons, and that's amazing. So then he goes to battle the Celestials so he can get rid of light in the universe. And he basically succeeds, because he is so powerful with the Klyntar that he just kills all of the Celestials. Well, probably not all of them. There's probably still a few left out there in the universe, but he kills the majority of them. And then after he completes this goal, he's like, all right, I'm done with my job now, so I'm just going to go back to living life how it was before. So he's like, I don't need these Klyntar anymore. So then he just takes them off and just leaves them there, down on the ground. And then they all merge together into one Klyntar symbiote, as Null just walks away, and we never see him again in the story. So we don't know if he's alive out there still, or if he died of old age or something. We don't really know. But that's where the story ends for Null. But this is where we continue on with the Klyntar, because they're just trying to live life and survive, really, because they're barely surviving there. And then there's this meteor and everything that crashes there, and there is an alien that shows up there, the first visitor that they have had, and she accepts the Klyntar as a host. And that's good, because now they have a host and everything. So she becomes a symbiote, she becomes venomized, and then she goes back to her own planet and venomizes her sisters. So then there's these 4 sisters, and these are the current leaders of the symbiotes, or Klyntar, and I love how it goes through stages of leaders. Like, we started off with Null, and then it goes on to these four sisters, and then it eventually becomes Venom, so that's really cool. But like I said, they just spread it throughout their whole planet, so their whole planet is just symbiotes and Klyntar, so they've taken over the whole planet, and they are just living normal lives, and they're just really trying to fit in just like how any other species would. But on this planet, there is one alien who completely rejects the symbiotes and will not take them, and he doesn't want to be their host. So then there's this battle between one of the sisters and this alien, and he actually kills her. So that's violent. But because he kills her, obviously everyone gets upset about this, especially the sisters, because now there's only 3 sisters left. So they I don't think they explain what happened to the alien. I assume they probably kill him too, for what they did to their sister. But they basically realized that they can't fit in. They can't just live lives how everyone else does. They realize that they need to control. They need to be in power, and if they can't fit in, they need to take over and dominate everything. So these 3 sisters that are still alive, they come up with this plan. And after they take over the whole planet, they create another weapon, actually 2 different weapons, similar to how Null created the Klyntar for the first time. And the first one is like this lava creature that we don't really get anything about. They kind of just mention like, oh yeah, there was this big creature and everything that they created. And then the other thing that they created is Venom, the destroyer of worlds, basically, and they created him to be their new leader, to lead them to conquer every world. And that's exactly what he does. He leads them through each world, one by one, conquering them, covering them in symbiotes and Klyntar, until Venom sets his eyes on one specific planet, which, of course, is Earth, because he knows that there's some very powerful defenses there, obviously with Spider-Man and the Avengers and all those heroes there. And, of course, Venom, he's a very cocky villain, so he enjoys a good challenge. So he decides, you know what, I'll go take on this Spider-Man guy. And he does, and he likes Spider-Man so much, he's like, you're a worthy opponent, so, you know, why don't you be my host, and, you know, we can be one. We are Venom. And then Spider-Man's like, what? No, that's just a bad idea. And we saw this on the show, how he went through that journey with actually bonding with the symbiote and then him rejecting it and everything, and then all the battles between Spider-Man and Venom and just their ongoing battle. Like, I think Venom has been in every single season of Spider-Man. He's just a recurring villain here. And that's basically how the story ends, because Venom, he is now the current leader of the Klyntar and the symbiotes, and he has just tried to conquer every planet in the universe, and Earth is like the one that he hasn't conquered yet. We saw that they kind of conquered Earth in the last episode that we got, but obviously the day was saved by Spider-Man and his friends, so that didn't last too long. But we do still have 3 episodes left, so maybe Venom will come back. Maybe he will lead the charge into this all-out symbiote human Earth versus symbiote war. It'll be really interesting to see if that's how it plays out. But I'm just excited for the next episode of this series. Like I said, check out my video from earlier to find out the release date of that episode. But other than that, that's pretty much everything that happened in this video. And like I said, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed seeing the history of the symbiotes and how they became what they are today. And it was just really interesting, and I'm glad that I know this information now. So yeah, I'm just super excited for the rest of this season. But what do you guys think about this? What did you think about this history of the Klyntar, symbiotes, and Venom? I think it was very, very interesting. What was your favorite part? And what do you think will be happening in the next few episodes of Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.